My name's Duncan Alderdice, and the reason I'm making these videos is to document the journey I take as I become who I am by making small improvements to my life every single day. In this video, I'm going to explain the improvements I've been making to my life for the past couple days, but first acknowledge the fact that I haven't uploaded in 2-3 days because I've been sick. Well, maybe sick is, I don't know, I don't want to get too graphic. It's more what I mean. But just yesterday I woke up, and the past few days I haven't been feeling great. Yesterday was a lot of not accepting liquids and rejecting plenty of liquids, if you catch what my drift is. And one thing that I think is the case is the fact that over the weekend I did drink. So I have lost that, I've lost the habits that I was consistently doing since the going alcohol free in April and no malt liquor in May, and then at the end of it. So just one thing that I think I want the theme of this video is, no, I'm gonna restart. No, we're gonna continue because there's an authenticness to this that I want to preserve. But I need to stay on. Part of a challenge in improving the life that you want by making small improvements to your life every single day is actually sticking to those improvements. And I think actually sometimes you have to make the mistake you were making before after not making that mistake in order to be reminded by why you stopped doing that mistake in the first place. And then, I guess a question is, if you can minimize that to 0, that's perfect. That you're in an ideal world there. But sometimes, some mistakes are harder to drop than other ones. But just so, today I feel much better than I was yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. But the past 3 days, I haven't been in the same sense of goodness as I was throughout April and May. So then it's okay. We had the little blip. Let's go back to what was working. So that's good. One thing I'm also doing is, because I have been kind of pushing off a lot of what's been on my to-do list. And a thing that I learned today is the fact that your to-do list will always be incomplete. So then for it to be in a perpetual, the point is not to get worried about the fact that the entire list needs to be done, but instead understand the point of making a list is to understand the massive problem that the list can be broken down to tiny little things. And that is actually the bad part. The part to focus on, at least. Okay, what else happened today? Here's because the point of these videos is for me to document the journey I take as I become who I am. And part of the conflict I'm going through right now is I'm changing the way that these videos are structured. Rather than, I haven't said the dials I did on the day, because I don't know whether that's still relevant specifically for a new person. But then I'm also thinking through in my head right now whether or not I should be restarting this video and approach it with more structure. But I'm not going to. I'm going to push through, because I think one thing I don't want to lose is the point of these videos are not them to be perfect videos, but I want to preserve the struggle so that later, when I am more apotheosized as a consequence of building something that helps people and perceived in a more idolized way, to have actual proof of the perfect image that is to be built was not always that way. The pearl was Baroque at one point, Baroque, because Baroque means misshapen pearl. But while doing that, I can't forget to actively try to get better. Sorry, that took too long to get out. So one thing that, here's one. I can see the time, and the time is at 5 minutes into the video. And I don't think I've been doing a great job actually delivering on the promise of the video, because what was the promise of the video? First, at the beginning part, enough to keep the viewer retained, and not just viewer, but the person, but making sure that it's the right person. More specifically, the right person who isn't someone who has seen a video before, in a way that preserves, like, okay, so here's the problem, is like, you can't alienate the person who's never met you before, but you also can't alienate the person who has met you before. So like finding a balance between the two is ultimately the thing I'm trying to figure out. But then I think that's I take the pressure off, is because if I make a video every single day, then the video doesn't actually have to be perfect. I think I am rambling a little bit right here. This is where I'm trying to segue into. So one of the groups that I joined in joining school is a YouTube mastermind with Carl Bro. And there was just like an hour-long meeting this morning. And I don't think I intended it last week. And this is what I'm learning. In the coaching call, like it was a group one-to-many sort of thing. But like the Carl was saying useful information that I had heard before. Like it was stuff that I had heard from other places. But so like the knowledge that he was saying was not the valuable part, but it was the act of being in a group with other people who are all have the similar sort of focus, and that knowledge being relevant, that then has made me improve on this. And so where it actually led to is there was someone in the group, because I brought up the topic of, or I was asked going like, what are you working on? Like I'm part of it, inquired, and like I was going like, I'm trying to work on the hook at the initial part. And then the thumbnail, I'm doing this weird thing to see what it is. And Carl goes like, no, he thinks that I should actually have a thumbnail. And the challenge I had to that was not a challenge, just going like, you're wrong, but a more of a, what I want to make sure that I can make these videos, like it's unreasonable for me to be able to make these videos consistently, except for me, my own procrastination. And so if I have to if I put a lot of effort into a thumbnail, let's say realistically 3 hours, which is a decent amount, then I'm not going to do it because it's going to become too much of a thing. So like, how do I make the thumbnail something as easy as possible, that it's really just a screenshot of the first frame that then kind of is a visual hook, but not that much of a visual hook, but it's impossible for me to actually do, which again is in line with the how to set goals for yourself. Like, don't make it this massive monster, make it this like figure out what the massive monster is, and then figure out what the tiny little things that all are on the way that would be like, it's basically like no, you can't step a mile, but you can take the number of steps it takes to walk a mile as a thing. But then what that led to was someone in the group being like, hey, let's get on a video call. I'll show you what you could like what they did to build their thumbnails in a way that would be a bit more might be a bit more efficient, so you can actually systematize it, and systematize it meaning not like have a system, but in as much as just have it in an efficient and a repeatable way. What I'm trying to ultimately say, yes, is that because I went to the coaching call, it led to that conversation. And then from that conversation, I have a call on Friday morning with the person who's going to show me what it is that they're doing. And even if what they showed me that they were doing was something I already knew how to do before, if then from that I start doing the thing, and then that will be an improvement on the videos that are being made. And when making a decision with your business, which I'm treating this as I'm building a channel for an outbound channel of organic content, is how reversible is the decision, is the amount of thought you should put into it. So if I make 6 videos and they all have thumbnails, so then the brand changes slightly, do I have to continue making those thumbnails for the rest of the time? Like, no. Can those thumbnails that are uploaded be modified later? Yes. Will the initial impression for the first time you upload it with the thumbnails be different, be changeable? No. So there is reversible components to it, but it's not something that should be, I need to think about this for a full week, whether or not I'm going to try using different thumbnails. It's like, no. doing this thing where I lean forward and then do a face thing that the kind of, if you hover your mouse over the video on the homepage, something kind of, it matches what you see on screen there. And then if I do that enough times, when I have the call, and then from that point forth try the new ones, then I can actually test to see whether or not the ones that I thought were going to be work better than the ones that they said they think that will work better. And then from there, learn something. And the point is not to be right, but the point is to learn. Because if you learn, then you make progress forward. And if you're making progress forward, then you're getting better every day. And that's ultimately what needs to do. Like, one thing that I say is the coaching call on Sunday went well. And it was nice because at the end of it, they actually were the one to bring up creating the action plan for the next steps on it. And I think the small improvement that I wrote down, because it's from 2 days ago, because technically today is Wednesday, is that what I want to do is find a consistent and repeatable structure for the calls such that I can actually steer the conversation to some degree. And I think one is emerging, but I think more just when they brought up the action steps, it was like, okay, that's a great way to end the call, is what are we doing next? And that's what you're actually getting from a coaching call, is the accountability and things that are going forward, which technically is what happened in the coaching call today, which is another reason why it's good to go to it, is to see what other people are doing, and then mimic that. Because if other people are doing and having success with it, you should mimic that and then change it. I'm always going to want to do it my own way initially, just that is the way that I am, but I'm never going to be ignorant to the fact that I probably don't know what I'm doing as well as somebody else. It's just a short little hump. Like, I just need to include it for some little bit. Like, it just, no matter what, like, there's just something that I'm going like, no, like, I think I know it better. But like, I'm not going like, I know it better and you don't know what you're talking about. It's going like, I'm doing it better and I want to try my way first, even if it's just once, and then I have to do it the other way. Like, I just want to know. And then, of course, the person that I'm speaking, the amount of time that actually will, the person I'm speaking to in it, who is providing the instruction, will have an impact on the speed time in which it takes for me to either listen or listen to them right from the beginning and after I've done something myself. But yeah, so. Clementine Club, thanks for sticking around as always, and remember to believe in yourself, because you're more capable of doing great things than you give yourself credit. I'll talk to you later.